So as the biggest boss fanboy in the whole entire world, I was very surprised to see him get coached by a regular top laner who doesn't do the boss law, doesn't do all that strategy. Maybe he does proxy, I'm not too sure. But it's surprising me because the boss, he's been ranked 13 before and has gotten challenger. And I don't know if he outpeaked, I forgot this guy's name, but Alois. But it's surprising he got like coaching from a regular playstyle top laner. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what he takes in and like what information, you know. Let's see.
So I was honestly really surprised also when you reached out, because I know we have a very distinct difference in our playstyle. I play for low devs, high consistency, and I feel like you've played or found a playstyle that works around you, not necessarily dying or caring too much about devs, more so about gold income. What brought you here is my first question. I was really surprised, genuinely.
True.
Nah, I mean, I get what you're saying when we have different playstyles, but I'm also telling you, man, like I've been just completely tunnel visioned on this whole tempo, high tempo.
Yes, that's true.
Where I just fucking perma push.
He doesn't care about the jungler,
like,
or
I've completely,
support, or mid,
maybe not
or
forgot,
ADC.
but I don't know how to play normal macro anymore. I feel like.
Okay, so do you feel like this is for mid to late, but also for your laning phase?
Mostly laning phase, honestly.
Okay, if you are serious about improving and climbing to your desired league rank, you're in the right place. This year, I've worked on laying out 2 courses that will help you in all aspects to improve. One is about all the fundamentals of the laning phase, and the other one goes in depth on tempo and the mid to late. I've been challenger for 7 years, and I can guarantee you that this will massively
this music's pretty good.
And reaching any goal that you have set in mind. Both courses have a preview video where you can see the style of the videos, so check those out before anything. You can also always join my Discord to check out some reviews. Alright, let's get into the video. Where's Jarvan starting? Okay, so it looks like your Jarvan is starting red side. But right now, okay, so red buff, he is pathing to top. That is a good thing for us. So at least we're not full weak-sided. Right, so Jarvan will be pathing to top. But we have no idea where Elise is at right now. What is your plan heading into this laning phase?
I mean, I'm telling you, my plan is literally just hit all the last hits and
he's with Froggen
while I do it.
Okay, are you
just like 1v1? I will win 100%.
Yes, 1v1 is a very beneficial matchup for you.
Yeah.
And I know this is, of course, I played against you a lot. I think you're one of the best mechanical players too. But in terms of... No, I not to like, you know, be that way. But your mechanics are insane. But if you match that with structure, I think then you can really utilize those mechanics too. Because right now it's hard to utilize those mechanics when you die more than you get kills.
Yeah, yeah.
So here, what I'd be thinking about is, my biggest fear is an Elise level 3 gank. And then being stuck in this part of the lane. So what I would be considering, for example, is doing a second wave crash.
Really?
Yes.
Second wave crash,
when you do a second wave crash is it kind of neutralizes your laning phase in a sense where you should never be able to get ganked.
You get
because
cannon
the
wave.
Bounce back into you. Now you do kind of drop the pressure, so this is not good always. It could be worth considering here. You could also look for a third wave crash. It just really depends on how this Quinn is going to path as well. But if Quinn does a blue buff, Gromp, red buff, she is already topside by the time that you've been able to crash in wave number 3.
Yeah.
Because she should, especially if she gets a leash as well, she can be top at like, I don't know, 240, 245-ish, which is on the timer where you're farming the third wave.
The jungler is always there on your fucking cannon wave, guys. Remember that. He's always there, right? I know this. Actually, it's either, I don't think it's second wave because you don't get level 3 unless you're like Shaker or something. But it's always on your fucking cannon wave. They fuck you over. Just remember that. The boss has never took that into consideration. A two push crash. Bounces it, comes back. And then Jarvan could be there to gank if the person hasn't warded yet, so...
And if we die in this pocket here, I feel like our lane is over already. We have no idea where Quinn is starting, Elise is starting right now. So you see that because we don't know where Elise is starting, it's kind of tricky to make a plan here now instantly too. We don't know if Jarvan is going to full clear or is going to fast clear into top as well. I think if Jarvan is smart, he fast clears into top to try and be like a, I guess like a guardian for you. But if we're playing in isolation here, the safest way that we can lane is by doing a second wave crash, because against Renekton you can guarantee a second wave crash, right? You get the priority, you can guarantee the second wave crash.
What do you do when you crash the second wave? Then do you stay in lane? You just walk around?
Yeah, because the biggest benefit from a second wave crash in that regard is that we're safe, right? As the wave will bounce back into us, it means we're not forced to walk up for last hits anymore. You can still probably contest the level 3 timer by just getting the 2 melees from the wave number 3. But then yes, you're just kind of accepting the bounce and you make sure that you are not gankable. Let's see how it goes. So here you start in lane, which is correct. Jarvan is pathing at the top. And yeah, I mean, looking for prio is of course going to be...
Ooh, electrocute.
Maybe to talk about that as well before we go. What do you feel like would be the most beneficial crash for you to do in this matchup if it's pure isolation? Because you said, we kind of went over that, but you said you default into a third wave crash if you get the priority. Also on other champions.
I always tried to crash on wave 3 and get a recall in. That's like the one
But
thing
that's
I
where
go
every
for.
jungler
Okay.
kills
Do you have a
you.
specific reason for that?
Just have enough gold to buy one component then.
Okay, before we go on to here, I feel like this is a very interesting thing too, because there, in my opinion, are a lot better crashes to do, especially with your playstyle too, to get a much better outcome.
Okay, wow.
So, in theory, a third wave crash is actually a neutralizing play. So here, I am slow pushing into him. He's playing with Ignite as well. And my thought process here is, of course, this is wave number 3, so we're just slow pushing this. And then, like I said, the faster I push this wave, the faster I can recall, and I kind of lane lock this guy. So, I get this wave to crash, and I shoot instant recall, I come back, I have my
Orange
ultimate,
blade.
and he pushes in the wave. But it's very tricky for... Okay, I got a random kill here too, so I guess that information kind of sucks, but the point here that I'm trying to make is that the faster we hard push this wave, like you say with the third wave crash, your opponent is forced to collect wave number 3, the remainder, plus wave number 4, right? And that means if you push this wave fast enough, as in this scenario, they never have enough time to push... or to collect this wave and push wave number 5. And if they recall, the wave will bounce back into me, so it's a good scenario too. Okay, so let's get into this game finally now.
Yeah.
So good level 1.
Basically what you're saying is also hard for Jax to push in to him because he already bought his Doran's blade and he can contest a freeze. So because he's up an item, right? So Jax, what he'll do is he'll be like, I'm getting fucked, and then he has to force a TP back or something, like, you know, if he can get his push in, he's forced to TP because otherwise he'll get fucked. Freeze, perma freeze.
And just stand it here. Jarvan, so I'm already noticing here that Jarvan is clearing into top much faster. Right, because he skipped his golems. So now I already feel like you are allowed to play a lot more aggressive simply because how Jarvan is pathing. You see, Jarvan is actually super fast and he skipped golems.
Oh my goodness.
So this is very good for us. Okay, we're just slow pushing, all good. So here, what do you feel like you're thinking about at this frame?
Here, I mean, I'm probably just thinking, like, I'm just focusing on these last hits, honestly.
Fair enough, but what I was just trying to think about is trying to calculate how what kind of crash I want. So I'd be thinking, do I want to slow push this and then hard push this wave? Because ultimately, you need to look at your minimap where your next wave is at to calculate where his next wave is at, right? So I'd probably just be, because this Jarvan says he's pinging here, maybe he wants to invade, he's already done his clear. So you could keep slow pushing this, which I think is the correct play, because ultimately by you only last hitting this, that allows this next wave to also join into here, right? So I think that's your best play to play, because ultimately if you're playing around here, this pocket, you're a lot less gankable than if you were to like push a bit faster right now and get
that's what slow pushing is for.
That is just
Hard
one
to
thing.
gank.
It's a tiny detail, but it matters a lot, especially in these early games. So I think you just completely last hitting here is a very good thing. And again, the more conscious you do it, you're probably playing very like based on intuition. And I think League of Legends is a very intuition-based game. But if you can also get the logic behind your intuition, you just structure your gameplay a lot more. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because your intuition is good, but the thought process behind it. Okay, so when Jarvan goes for the gank, this is good. You shouldn't have E because it just uses it in a trade. So it's forced to flash. Very nice. Okay, so now what's going through your mind in this frame?
Genevieve,
I'm thinking right now that I should just push this and back off, or like recall.
Yeah, I think that's correct. So now I'm thinking...
Wait, does the boss not play without a map? He's kind of right. Wait, he shouldn't have used his E and his Q. He like Q'd the last hit. He should use his E. So when Jarvan EQs, he can like CC him, and then that actually might kill him.
The faster I push here, the faster I'm back in lane as well. So here I feel like we've already wasted 2 valuable seconds in that regard. Now it doesn't matter that much here because we're strong side, but in different scenarios it will matter more. So that's why I'm always so keen on always having a plan with my wave. The second the wave comes, I want to have a plan. Do I want to hard push this? Do I want to slow push this? And again, the faster you push this, it still makes your efficiency higher too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harassing him does nothing.
We're actually not looking to crash the wave, we're more so still looking to trade. And now,
I guess I'm planning to stay, but it would probably be better to just crash it and recall.
I mean, you don't get the best recall value, so it's okay for you to stay, because I think 600 is a very awkward value to recall it. What do you buy? Longsword, Call? You kind of want to have a bit more gold, right? The only fear that I have by you continuing to stay here is that Jarvan, he's looking mid, I think Jarvan should go here. In general, we want this wave to bounce back into us, because Jarvan is going to end up in his bot side again sometime soon. I feel like here in the early game, we're complete chilling. I just think that it could be different in the game where if at least it would be behind us right now. But now we're completely chilling. This is good.
He's gonna try push ward. He's like kind of fine. He can do whatever he wants.
So I guess same concept here is, again, what is your plan? Is it hard push this, slow push this wave, hard push next, right? So you hard push this wave, but here I feel like you make a big blunder, and that is that you're hard pushing these casters too. Because the same thing that we talked about earlier is here, I would by default always slow push this minions. And that is to allow this minion wave to walk to here so you can farm it in a comfortable position. But if you push these minions right now, these will step up and then you're farming the wave here. Yeah, it's a lot harder for you to do
sense. Damn, okay.
So that's why it's so important to always make a plan. Like whatever you are on your waves, so you see now these minions will walk forward. I think this is a lot more uncomfortable for you to farm this. You definitely lose tempo trying to farm this right now.
Yeah, of course.
And now we're kind of stuck in this position. I think it's still beneficial from you.
Yeah, this is what ended up happening is that I felt like I was winning lane. I didn't do anything with the fact that I had full prio and was winning trades and stuff. I always ended up trading CS with him.
But this is good, right? I feel like it ends up being good for you right now. But it's also because Elise hasn't like had a single intention of being topside.
Yeah, I could have died easily.
Because you're permanently playing what I refer to, like this is his happy spot. I refer to this as the happy spot because realistically, there's no way for enemy jungle to gank on the Renekton, but you're always in a very vulnerable position. Like Elise has 3 different angles to gank you from here. I guess we get the same thing here again. You see? We should have probably slow pushed this, allow next wave to walk up so we can farm it comfortably.
Okay, yeah.
So it repeats here again, but because we hard push here again, this wave is not allowed to walk up comfortably, so you have to farm it here. But it's a lot harder for you to farm. Plus the turret is already dealing with killing your minion wave. So you don't really get that tempo recall, and that results in Renekton getting a freeze here even. One more detail that I feel like we were missing out on here is Elise is ganking bot, and in these scenarios, it is just so important for you to press tab, and at least see what Elise is doing. If she has like 28 CS, I would even argue that she maybe even full cleared into bot here, right? Ultimately, after this bot gank, she probably wants to recall at this point in time, right? But I have no clue right now if she's going to open in top side or into bot side next. No clue. By just pressing tab here and even hovering your camera, you just know for sure what's going on. And I guess Elise ended up coming back into top side, and we died for that.
Wow. Wait, what the fuck?
So now we finally get punished in that regard.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I feel like this was a mix of not tracking junglers plus very, I guess, undisciplined with getting that tempo reset timer. So now I'd be thinking, again, we need to make a plan with the waves. How do we make a plan here? What do you feel like is your most consistent plan to do?
Here I usually just push.
Okay.
I just shove this next wave.
Yeah, I think that's fine. The biggest reason...
You would rather slow push it?
No.
Okay.
No. Here in this scenario, I would never do that because the longer we slow push, the more vulnerable we are.
Okay.
In the sense that you're only vulnerable whenever you're slow pushing towards your opponent, right? If the wave is pushing into you, you're not forced to walk up for last, you're not as vulnerable. So I hardly agree that you should be pushing this as fast as you can, as long as you can guarantee the crash.
Okay.
If you can't guarantee the crash, you're even fine because you're Queen, so you can actually roam. But let's say you're like, I don't know, sign here and you don't guarantee the crash, you're just screwed. Unless you can, I guess, ultra range and...
What I do is if the wave is like this, I would hard push, but also you could do slow push if you want to feel comfortable. But honestly, at least Renekton, there's level 6, so... yeah, hard push is good, because usually what I do, if you can, I don't even think he can. That's why I said slow push. Like, can Quinn really hard push this? She doesn't have that much wave clear, right? That's why. Revan does. When you wave clear, what I usually do, especially when I died, I'll go in the enemy jungle, put like 5 wards down, pink ward, I don't know, and exit, and then now hopefully my team can carry me. With the vision.
Right? But one detail here that I definitely want to talk about is what do you feel like is the fastest way to push this wave? Okay, you are doing it. It's focusing the casters, right?
Yeah,
it's a very important detail. But now Renekton is here.
I didn't know
now
that.
I actually would have changed my plan, and now I would have slow pushed into hard push because Renekton is already here. Didn't spot his tempo.
He can't crash if he's here or what?
Yes, you can't crash it if he's here because look how close next wave is.
Yeah.
Also, where would you want his next wave to be positioned in the lane?
As close to my turret as
exactly, right? So that's why slow pushing is better. But if you hard push, it's gonna end up meeting here. Do you feel comfortable farming here?
Nope.
I hate my life too. So here, again, I would slow push just to get his next wave to be in a beneficial position for us. So, I mean, this is what I just refer to as you're kind of playing bad, but you're getting rewarded for it by getting this roam timer, in a sense. As in, the way we leave our wave right now, if this play, so right now we leave our wave in a scenario where it's bad for us, right? So we're 0-1 behind. How I see this. If this play goes wrong, you're 0-2 behind, I feel like game is kind of GG from that. If the play goes well, it will be 1-1, you're fine. So here, by you forcing numbers advantage, it is a good play. Okay, Senna is here, but I still think this play will probably be good, so in that regard, we're fine. But If you don't get this type of plays, I feel like your lane right now is completely doomed in terms of consistency, and that's what we're striving for, right? I dislike what happened here because our wave state is bad in terms of consistency. So some games this result will be good because you get a nice skirmish here, and a different game ranked and freezes onto you here and you just die again. So yeah, the slow push was 100% our correct play.
Boom.
Nice, we get a shutdown. Let's go.
Well, working out, I guess.
Oh, wait,
I feel like a lot of times I just end up in shit positions, and because I didn't really think.
Oh wait, he kills her
Like,
here.
I
No.
didn't really think
There's
what
no
I was
W.
doing, and then I just ended up like that, and then it's just doomed.
Pew.
Yeah.
Because position I put myself in.
So now the result is
Wait,
extremely good, right?
whoa.
And also Ragnar has pushed away back into the
Whoa.
but the result was very good for you here just because of how this played out. But in,
What the fuck?
So we live. But in a lot of games, you don't get these scenarios, and then that's the issue. So for like right now,
but,
the biggest
if Renekton just stayed and pushed out the wave, I would just be fucked either way.
Yes.
Like I always lose on this play. I feel like even if it goes well.
Well, you got 2 shutdowns and all your treasure hunters. So I think here, this is like an exceptional play, right? This is 100% worth it for you. Because now in terms of gold, you're so far ahead on the Renekton. I think you're like 1.3k, 1.4k gold ahead on him right now. But your wave is bad again, because what Renekton did do indeed is crash it into your turrets. And now it's going to bounce back. So you are losing out on a lot of waves here.
Well,
exactly.
Wait, did he fix
Next
it?
one here. What do you feel like we want to do on this wave? So just to make a point,
I didn't fix
so we
it.
start thinking together. What do you feel like is the best thing for you to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would just, when I get back to lane, I would just shove everything.
Yeah,
They killed Renekton.
because then it will
What the
bounce back
fuck?
into you, and you're never vulnerable. And you get roam timers. So this is 100% correct. Okay, one very important thing here though is what do you think is, again, where are we currently playing? This is more closer towards his turret, towards his happy spot, right?
Yeah.
So in these scenarios, again, it is vitally important that you only play for the wave and not for trades. It's like a bait to look for any trades here, because look where your jungler is at. He is guaranteed bot side. Do we know
He's
where
a hard
every jungler is
push,
at?
or
No
it's
idea,
a
right?
gamble.
So just for the habit of consistency, if you push in this wave, you're free to do whatever you want. For the next 1.5 minutes, you will not be
gamble,
vulnerable because
at least
the wave
could
will
be
bounce back
here.
into you, and you can look for roam timers, you're fine. If you continuously trade here, you put yourself in a very risky position. So here, I would only play for the wave, nothing else. Looking for these trades puts you in a very great position.
Wave instead.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Looks like we're gonna get punished for it. Maybe not.
Man, I'm getting punished pretty sure.
Oh yeah, we do get punished. Yeah, okay, that was nice.
Oh wait, he
Did you
lives?
escape? Okay, so this is again a result of how we actually played our waves. Nothing else. Alright, same thing.
Wow.
What do you
And then,
reckon?
like mid-game tempo, all I do basically is I just push every wave. I just look for tempo all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do that in the early game as well. But then it ends up like this before I just push every wave without thinking. And then he ends up with like a good wave state for himself.
On side lane, you mean? Or you mean laning phase?
No, like all the time, pretty much. I just always like to push
He always
the
looks
wave as fast as I can.
That's what I was thinking. I knew
in
his.
mid-game,
I knew it was wrong.
The waves, how they function, is the exact same as in laning
Look.
phase, right?
I knew the way he thought it was wrong, and I didn't like. I got caught up in his good death shit. Oh my goodness. Somewhere deep down, I knew he was wrong. But I could never accept it, you know? I could never accept it. I'm like, oh, that's a good death. Who cares what? Oh my god, I got talked into it too. Even when I play top lane, I try to proxy. It's so dumb.
Because we're very often, if
He's
you
created a bunch
slow
of
push into
idiots like
hard
me.
push, the wave will bounce back into you. If you insta hard push very often, your opponent gets a freeze, or the wave state stays towards his pocket of the lane. So let's say we've gotten this turret down, and this wave is always meeting in the middle here. You're saying that if you are the side laner here, right, your goal would just be to try and hard push this one wave right here, and then very often look for roam timers.
Yeah. Or try and push it up until tier 2.
Yeah,
But then I die a lot when I'm up all the way up there.
Yes. So then what you can do, again, so similar to laning phase, what you can do is slow push this first wave, allowing the second wave to, instead of you being able to like having to farm it here or here, so that you can farm it here and you'd still get the same window. As in, you slow push this wave, and then the second wave walks up further, you farm it here, you probably die a lot less as a result.
Yeah, no, I never do that. That's smart, actually.
Let's see, Rankton's tempo. Alright, we're seeing here, Talia's mid. Jarvan is still bot side. Jarvan is probably going to be doing Dragon here by the looks of it.
It's so
What do you feel
funny
like we
to
should do
watch.
on this next wave?
I just shove it fast.
Okay, I disagree. What I think we should have done here is currently what I refer to as we're weak side. right? As in, I have no clue where Elise is at. She could be topside, she could be bot side. If she's bot side, we're fine. But some things you could, for example, do here as well is last hit at the latest frames. Because if we're last hitting at the latest frames here, what happens is your minions are stuck, right? Because of these minions. That allows this next minion away from him to walk closer to your side of the lane. So instead of the lane meeting in the middle, it's a lot safer for you. So you end up hard pushing this.
Yeah.
In a different game, whilst your team is making this play, you die and they get the full turret.
Yeah.
I have no clue where Elise is at. You have no clue. So I really dislike this play as well. Just for a matter of like discipline, I would probably just try to last hit these minions at the latest frames possible, to get the wave closer to me, and then be in a much safer position with farming it. Yeah, if Elise ends up being here, then you're free to do whatever you want in isolation. If Elise ends up being topside, you have more room to outplay. Here it works, but again, I feel very frisky doing this. I'd be shaking in my boots here.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't have you don't give a shit. You're just walking into it. Okay, so Elise is bolt, so it was correct now. But yeah, we get the gist.
Yeah.
It was actually so fun to watch, actually.
I think maybe one thing worth considering here.
The reason I wanted to push was if Renekton wanted to roam.
Okay, that is fair, and that is a thing I 100% understand.
Now when you say that, like if Elise is here, like they're fine trading Drake for 1 kill and 3 plating, so you're 100% right here.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, you just can't be playing for your team in this scenario. You have to be more selfish. In a sense, it sounds weird, our weak side we have to be more selfish, but the thing is, you cannot control how Remington moves right now, because all our vision is bot side, Nautilus and Jarvan are bot side, and we simply have zero vision on Talia or Elise. You thinking about your team here, I think, is also a wrong mindset. And I understand you want to prevent Remington from roaming, but you can't control it right here. So I wouldn't try and force control it. Is we have Mythic in base, that's one thing I notice. It's hard to recall what you're thinking about here exactly. I think you have an opportunity to maybe proxy this wave, this next wave, to get tempo reset.
Oh, wow.
You could roam to mid, but I think by the time you're here, the play is already over. So I think your best play is to actually just reset.
Yeah, I would probably reset as well. I think I might look for proxy. I'm not sure
actually
what I'd
proxy?
look for here.
I think you were thinking about proxy, but then okay, use these. This is fine. We're playing in isolation. It's not necessarily anything bad, right? He used E.
It's a good trade, right? I guess. But I don't think he ever will have kill pressure on him.
Yeah, but I think here I should just shove or like crash the wave and reset.
Yes, ultimately we're losing tempo by not resetting for your mythic. Because you're not able to kill Renekton on these items, and the faster you get your mythic, the faster you can start. I guess
we can never dive this guy.
Like I feel like I always mess up in the early game. Like I was able to get away with it a few seasons ago when people didn't really understand tempo.
Yeah.
But these days, when everyone understands tempo pretty well, I'm not getting away with it anymore. So my ints legit loses me games.
If you fall behind, your opponent doesn't give you a way to get back in the game. You just don't get back anymore. Okay,
I'm not 100% sure what happens, but we can see because most of my Gragas games goes the same way anyways.
Oh, you play against Doxy. That guy always plays extremely aggressive, but that's okay. First things first, what I always do is I scout the topside matchup, right? I scout the matchup, and I scout the topside 2v2. Do you feel like we can ever 2v2 in topside in the early game?
I don't think so, no.
No, never, right? Since I was infinitely stronger than Hecarim in the early game. So we should always be avoiding 2v2s. What do you feel like are the hardest parts of this laning phase? Like, when do you feel like this laning phase really sucks?
Legit just the first 5 minutes. If I get through 5 minutes even, it gets so easy for me.
Okay. So if we structurize our 5 ways where we try and not die.
You can win 2v2 if somehow they burst someone, but that's
maybe 5 to 10 CS behind. I think after first recall, you get some points in your queue, this matchup becomes a lot more playable, right? And the realistically only time where we are vulnerable is when the wave is bouncing into him. So let's see how we can prevent that. I feel like this is also a game where you're not necessarily looking for early wards. It can still help your team in a lot of regards if you get a ward down like here or here, right? But it's very tricky against Xin Zhao, so I wouldn't look for to do it.
Wow.
Okay, so we're leashing here.
Wow, this Jace, holy shit.
I really hate leashing.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I kind of stopped leashing.
Holy
recently.
shit, this Jace.
The problem with that as well is the first 4 ways are the most important, right? So I'm always going to mention that. But the thing is, if you leash here, you're guaranteed giving away priority, plus your weak side because your jungle will path into bot for the first 2.5 minutes. So you kind of lose your matchup. Even, let's say this was like a more playable matchup for you. Let's say Gangplank Gragas, right? You can contest a bit more in the early game, something like this. If you leash, you fully concede that opportunity.
This is like this guy really good.
So I feel like you already concede your laning phase or the most important part of that laning
phase. This guy actually a good player? Oh.
And I would have never looked for the second trade. And that is because if you go for the second trade, you're guaranteed going to be losing EXP in top lane. And EXP.
Yeah, here I just leave, you think?
Yes, you 100% leave. So right here staying, I think is fine. After this Q, he never can kill the hacker. He should have enough damage to kill him. I think you just leave right here. On this frame. And you probably noticed this as well. If you lose these first 3 minions.
Yeah, it's like doomed.
Yes. EXP snowballs, I think, infinitely harder than gold in the early game, especially the first landing phases. And that is because of the level up timers, right? Every level up timer is 600 gold. If your level up is delayed with 3 melee minions in the early game, it just snowballs so extremely hard because you're never going to be able to condition gold anymore. If you got the first 3 melees here and the Jace missed it, you would be in that beneficial position. Yeah, I think just right now your laning phase is already kind of doomed because we lose both the potions, we're 1 HP, and we lose EXP guaranteed here. So how do you play a lane from here on out? Well, I can also argue that most of the things that are going to happen from here on out are a result of what happened here. But let's see how you try and adjust.
Yeah, but I feel like in most of my Gragas games, like, it's very similar gameplay anyways, where I try to get as many last hits as I can, and the enemy is just hitting me. Like, especially with Gragas early game, I feel like I can't fight them early game.
Fair. Do you feel like that also has to do with your setup? Because we're going, you have...
Probably right, I have full scaling.
Yes, you go full scaling setup, right? So you're playing a champion that is inherently weak early, but you're also playing full scaling setup. Right, you're going Sapphire Crystal, you have Ability Haste here, and you're going Phase Rush. So in terms of anything that is like, you are like a cannon minion in the early game. After first recall, you're a lot better. But considering your setup too, I feel like your biggest goal is to try and just go even. If you're even after first recall, you're extremely happy. So our mindset is just very different. As long as we can guarantee that we're fine in the first waves, then your gameplay will always be alright. It's just here that we lose 90% of our sustain at level 1, then it's just gonna be a much trickier game. Yeah, it's completely doomed. And you have E-Stack too, so you can't really sustain with W. But now it's okay. Wave's pushing into us, which is completely fine. Okay, he's level 3, which is chill. Okay, so this is the tricky scenario, right? When the wave will bounce. That is just going to be the tricky scenario. Also with Xin Zhao being topside, probably.
Oh wait, did he TP?
Xin Zhao killed Hecarim in the jungle. I mean, this game is just very doomed from the get-go. But your TP is 100% correct, by the way, because that's the only way you can play out the bounce. So now this is the most interesting part, I guess. This is the first interesting part. How do we make a plan? What is your plan here, you reckon? So what's the first step we take, or we should be taking?
I would probably, seeing as my own wave, I would probably look to crash on the next wave. So slow push this, just last hit, and then crash next one.
Yeah. And one more important thing to notice here as well, you don't necessarily need to slow push in the sense that you only have to last hit. Because realistically, you only need 1 minion to stay alive to get this wave to move to this part here as well, right? So only last hitting is not necessarily required, but what you're saying is correct. I want this wave to stay in this pocket because it's very hard for Jace to pressure onto you, and you're not gankable in this pocket right now. So yes, last hitting is correct, but we don't have to full last hit. It's still okay, fine to like use the abilities here and there, because as you guys, like, you tell me when you, okay, so this is completely fine, because ultimately you only need around 1 minion to stay alive. Okay, this Q is, it's still okay. So now, on this next wave, what are you thinking about? We see Zhao fighting bot 2.
I'm just thinking of shoving this.
Yeah, I feel shoving here is correct.
As fast as I can.
I agree. What I would do here probably is shove this as fast as I can, proxy next wave, and then recall. You get your... I think that is a good option here. So the faster you push this, the faster you can get in proxy position, and then you just get a beautiful recall. I feel like we missed that opportunity here. Is Xin going in top side? I feel like right now the proxy is risky though. Because... Yeah. So here in this frame, we have quite a big wave, right? We have this full wave. Plus we have full next wave. I mean, I think Dox is also doing a good job in trying to thin it out. But ultimately here, the faster we push... Can we push it faster? No, you've actually tried to push it as fast as you can. Right? You're, you're pushing it as fast as you can. No, there's nothing you can do faster. Here I think it's risky to proxy now though. Because I think Jace is also did a really good job at thinning it out. Okay. No, I made the exact same decision. There's nothing you can do in that regard.
Okay, but because Jace thinned out the wave so much...
Yeah.
Do you only go for proxy if you have a big wave crashing?
I feel like that is generally speaking the safest approach, because if you don't have a big wave, so the biggest benefit from proxying is that your opponent is forced to choose between either the wave or the proxy, right?
Right.
But if there's no way for him to prioritize, he can just walk with the wave
gonna go on you,
and stop you, and then you can really block yourself too, because since Zhao shouldn't be topside yet because he was here skirmishing, right? Okay, so he's here right now. So even there, I probably would feel kind of scared proxy. I feel like right now, even with the Xin Zhao showing, it's probably scared to proxy too. But yeah, here I would never feel safe proxying because the wave is simply too small. So the Jace could just walk with you, and then let's say nothing happens, you lose your tempo too because Jace still has TP. Do you have enough gold here for your item?
Do
you have enough gold here? I mean, we could consider recalling here as well, but to be fair, I would also hard push here because it's a normal wave, right? So yeah, I think pushing here is correct. It's just very weird Shaco gank. Alright, what's your
Shaco
thought on this
ganked?
wave state?
What?
What
I
is
mean,
any
now
Wait, what?
gank? Alright, normal wave, right? So, yeah, I think
Mhm.
pushing here is correct. It's just very weird. Shaco gank. Alright, what's your thought on this wave state?
Shaco ganked him. What the fuck?
What
I
is
mean,
any...
now I kinda, when I get to this spot with Gragas, usually I think about starting to actually trade back. I have unlimited mana and sustain, so I'm just gonna try and poke him as much as I can.
Okay.
I don't really think that much about stage. I'm just gonna push every wave probably.
Okay, do you feel like pushing in this frame here is a... So what I'd be thinking about here, so to say my... I 100% agree with what you're saying, right? And of course, you know your limitations on Gragas much better than I do. But the one thing that I'd be considering here is that Hecarim is going to go Raptors and then into Krugs, meaning you're weak side for at least another minute right now. He could go for Scuttle or he could go back to base, and only then he's
You
back
drew
to
a
the top.
penis.
I have no idea where Sinzao is at right now.
I just need to think about jungler more.
Yeah, because I feel like right here, if we look to play super proactive the way you're doing right now, I'd be much more aware of the strong side, weak side, and I'd feel more inclined to try and play even here, simply because I have no idea where the Sinzao is at. So here, we are full fighting, right? But, I mean, what if Sinzao just showed up here for fun?
Oh,
Could have happened. And so the biggest takeaway here is you might get less
Wait,
kill
what?
windows because of this, but you also get a lot of less death windows. And 50-50,
Right.
you can kind of choose. Do you take the 50-50?
You
Do
actually
you not take the 50-50?
Damn. He
But
went
how
for
can
the...
we optimize this? It's through having a much better jungle tracking from the get-go. So if you know where enemy jungle started and you're continuously pressing tab every time we see the Sinzao on the map, you should know his tempo and what he's going to do next. Remember when we saw Sinzao start here and invade here, right?
Yep.
We saw him invade here, then we saw him on midwave one more time too, fighting here, and then we saw him going from here into topside again too. So here in this pocket, I think it's actually safe to assume that he is bot side. But I don't think you were consciously aware of this in the game. Unless you were, right? Unless you were, I can't say that.
Probably was.
But you see that how this all-in window timer would have been correct for you if you knew where the Sinzao was at. Simply by just pressing that tab and knowing where he started. And that's why that is so important to
Did he
also
not kill
understand
him
how you
here?
play your waves. So you see the difference, I
Wow,
think, between you and you should play your waves a lot more centered around the matchup and around your champion, whereas I play more around the junglers. So I just die a lot less. Here, how this played out mechanically, it is just very unfortunate. So yeah, my question again would be here, what is your plan here? You're trying to hard push this. Hecarim wants to invade. I think you have to slow push this simply because it's a cannon wave.
So what do you do when he crashes here? Do you just... Because I'm pretty sure I just walk up and try and farm the minions anyways.
Yes, I think this is correct. You want to try and match level 7, right? And ultimately, by making the wave pushback into the Jace, you also can't really look to trade and play aggressive onto you. So I think that's completely fine. So yeah, I think it's good for you to make
You don't look
authority
to
here.
help like jungler there in that window.
No, I mean, the thing is, if there's a full fight happening, then you could look to move here, but I feel like it's a very tricky scenario. This is like a decision that you have to make in the game as well, right? It's a split second decision, but I think here also when you see the Sinzao, you're probably you're completely fine too. Maybe if you saw the Sinzao moving on this ward, you may have moved as well.
This boss
It's very
trying to
hard
improve
say.
with coaching.
Right, because you
Not
do have
dying.
tempo on the Jace right now.
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
right now in the landing phase, we're at the point though where unless Jace makes a mistake, we kind of can't really get back in the lane because we're 2-0 down. Okay, we do get a nice window here. And one thing I'm also noticing is I've seen you communicate 0 times that this Jace does not have flash. Is that just a habit you feel like you don't do
know.
much?
I just don't. I just don't. I feel like I don't want my jungler to play around me that much.
Never.
Not really. I mean, I don't mind if they do, but I don't want to tell him how to play his game.
Okay, I
guess.
think not telling how to play in game is fair, but giving him more options to make game plans is the correct thing, right? So if you if my opponent does not have flash, I time it and I spam ping it.
I think he's
Because
just lazy.
with Gragas ult and Hecarim ult, I feel like this Jace without flash, if he's ever at like the half point mark of his lane, he should not be allowed to play. He should just die.
Right.
If Hecarim is topside, ping it more also to give your jungler more plans. So I do think that part of communication, just only pinging the flash, then you don't tell him like gank here. I mean, if I'm Riven, I'm doing that more because I need the resources, but here it's also fine just ping and saying, like, just giving your jungler the opportunity to look into it.
Right.
Boomba. Boomba. Oh, wow. Look at that boomba. Damn.
Sad.
Good move
That
by
was a
him too.
flag. Yeah.
Fuck.
So now I feel like this matchup is just over. As in, everything that happens now is kind of a result of what happened earlier, right? And if the Jace dies, then we can get back in the game
Holy
again.
shit.
But yeah, and my thought process here would be is try to stop the bleeding. But I understand that I'm trying to stop the bleeding. If I get so if I make sure that I'm only trading equal resources from now on, as in he gets a wave, I get a wave, he gets a wave, I get a wave, at least I never make sure that Jace cannot expand his lead. That's what my mindset would be here. Like, you just have no chill and full fight them, I respect it. But that would just be the difference between my decision here compared to your decision.
Look how he's fighting him with the clips.
Yeah.
Holy
However, this
shit.
game was very unlucky of what happened level 1. I'd love to see more Gragas games where we have a more, I guess, general approach in the early game. That because this game blew open in the early game, right? Your jungler got invaded level 3. Your matchup was kind of doomed level 1. Kind of sucks. So this game in terms of...
We'll see another.
Yeah, that's good. But it's kind of hard to structure this gameplay or add structure because it was so blown open by the early game, right? But this kind of does show how important that early game is because everything very often just expands from like League is so snowballing right now, it's crazy.
I mean, this is a matchup where I feel like is like heavily Gragas favored.
Okay.
Where the only time she can actually kill me would be like level 2, level 3.
Yeah, she wins early, right? But after first recall, you just take over because you get more cooldowns. So, I mean, their early 2v2 is 10 times stronger than you, right? Gragas, Diana as well. So,
yeah.
I'm completely fine being pushed in, just trying to stay equal resources. That should be your goal.
Yeah.
This is a game where I would consider, again, getting a ward down. We're full weeks at it again, unfortunately, but I have no idea where enemy jungle is starting. So just having that idea where enemy jungle is starting, I feel like instantly structurizes your whole gameplay. Because remember when we were able to tell at level 6 if Xin Zhao would be topside or not, was just because we knew his starting position, right? As in he went from here to like invading the Hector in here with 16 CS, and then probably went here into mid, and then back to the top side, meaning he goes bot side again. Kind of in that way. But just because you knew his starting position, you know kind of in what order he's going to be pathing most of the game. So yeah, your players probably also just get pushed in, which is completely fine.
Think so? You know where to get them, right?
Okay, we did not see it coming. Okay, so here you actually look to get prio by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So I would never hit the wave because you said Camille wins level 1 to level 3. So I think it's a mistake to look for priority in the matchup isolated 1v1. But the reason why I think it's an even bigger mistake is because Diana is pathing into bot here. So from now to 4:30, you're not gonna have a jungle ever. So if we're gonna put this wave in this pocket, you best guarantee that you get like your third wave crash in, or even your second wave crash. I also feel like we can get in a lot of trouble here in this matchup if this is Zhao's pathing top. That's how I'd be thinking.
Yeah, because I don't think Gragas really like Sion can get away with it because Sion has insane wave clear, but Gragas early game doesn't really have that.
I don't know if they have that every time. So here, I've only seen him once.
Camille's contesting it.
So I was confused when I saw them.
I think it's alright. But I just really wouldn't want prior in this matchup, especially with the jungle matchup too.
So you wouldn't want to push here at all?
What happened?
I think
even when she backs up like this.
So the thing is here, if Xin Zhao started here, then I think it's fine.
But you need to know where he starts.
Because then he passed both, right? So that's my problem with here. Because if the Xin Zhao passes to top right now, I would feel a lot less secure here because I know where my jungle is at. I just have no idea where the Xin Zhao is at. Now, for you in isolated matchup, it is very beneficial for you to have priority, right? So right now, are you gankable? I would say no. But on next wave, we might be gankable.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be your thought process on this wave?
I mean, I don't think I can shove it. Like, I should probably put down a ward, but I'll probably just lost it here.
Okay. So I think putting down the ward, like here, is probably your best ward, right? Or like here. So I think this ward is very vital. Yeah, we should have looked for a ward. And here, I think we have the same scenario where I wouldn't necessarily want you to last it only. We just need 1 minute to stay alive.
Okay.
And then, if like, so I feel like we were walking around here for the past 4 seconds, right? I feel like we could have hit a lot more. Multiple reasons. First of all, if we get 2 melees here, you always get your level 3, right? You get your level 3 first, so that puts you in a strong position to... Camille might feel scared to walk up for some last hits. We could have played proactively to the level 3. But the biggest benefit you get here as well, by getting the wave to already push a bit, is you could look in this matchup then for the hard push wave 4, proxy wave 5, if Xin Zhao is pathing into bot here. And how much gold do you need for your...
You didn't ward.
750. That gives you the 750 you need.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, since I was here, I would want you to instantly press tab
and
move
we
your
can
camera
fuck this Camille.
Because what's probably happening is 12 CS rep buff. So then we know he's done these 3 camps. Then you know he's not coming top anytime right now. So now I feel like we're in a very blessed position.
I'm gonna fuck this guy
Let's see
out.
how we play from that. This is really good. This is exactly what I would want to see. I would pop a potion here as by default, because my plan would be to part push this wave as fast as possible. Proxy next recall. Just put your available right now because you're going to recall soon anyways.
This is possible.
So I would avoid trades here.
Yeah.
Alright, we get the wave in. Do we proxy? Lovely. What is that Q, buddy? That Q is complete grief.
Yeah, it is.
Because it delays your proxy so much.
Right. Yeah, if I had Q, I would be out of here.
Yeah. I think you're dead. Okay. So I don't think you're ever allowed to die here, frankly. Right? We're in such a blessed position, and the biggest reason as to why
Yeah, this is so
that
funny.
Camille is forced to collect 2 full waves.
What the fuck is this, man?
And yeah, we have enough tempo to get this. I think we missed.
There's no reason to go first to Mall.
The only thing that I've been thinking about here as well is like calculating the gold, right? So these waves would give you around 140 gold each. That's around what you need for the items. So you just try and farm as consistent as you can here. And then, yeah, just proxy next wave and then recall. And then Camille is forced to collect this wave too. So by the time that Camille is collecting this wave, right, we would already be recalling right now. We would start turning our recall around this time, right? If we didn't hit the turret, we walk past it, we farm the wave, correct?
Yeah.
So now we'd be recalling in this push, and Camille's collecting this entire wave. By the time that you're like, I don't know, here, Camille can just start channeling her recall. Your lane is like 1 from there. Yeah, so this is why I think that 4th wave crash into proxy wave 5, when you're in neutral laning, is extremely good. And like your lane should be 1 from that point onwards. What's your plan here?
I didn't think about that.
I mean,
Big waves mean
just looking to trade with her. Probably just literally trade with her on every CS she goes up for.
Okay, you think that's wise? Where should Amy Jungle be at right now?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I got a good ward on Krugs, I guess.
This is in the same ward, so you should be coming back at topside in theory right now, right? In theory, you should come back into topside. As in, you full clear to the bot. You see Diana's topside again as well. So most likely Sinzhao's topside again. But you could still trade. We don't know if Sinzhao's instantly going to gank. But you see how here, where I'm thinking about is slow pushing this, probably hard pushing this, and getting my level 5 first. What you're saying is, oh, when I see this Camille, bro, I'm trading. So I feel like we see the same frame, we think about 2 complete different things. So I'm thinking about jungle coming back into topside, and I'm thinking about wave states here. And I think that structurizes your gameplay a lot more to consistency. So here, get your level 5 first, then start trading. That's what I think trading here is correct. It can work, because you have this good ward. So you get your level 5, good. Beautiful trade. Now we should last it at the latest frames possible to allow this wave to walk more through the lane, and then we can hard push it.
Yep.
Okay, Sinzhao shows mid. Again, I would want you to press tab, check his CS, but also check his items. Because there's a good chance here that the Sinzhao actually hasn't recalled yet. So if you know that Sinzhao hasn't recalled yet, I would say you can even go proxy again and even take the golems as well. Right? You just get more options by understanding the tempo of Sinzhao right here.
Oh my goodness.
Trade. I think we're actually safe to proxy. But I have no idea where the Sinzhao is right now at. Because we didn't press the tab and stuff. Oh. Okay. I feel like you are 10 times better than this Camille. You just died twice, frankly, for nothing.
Yeah. I feel like I always grief my health for either minions or platings a lot as well.
Yeah. Do you feel like so you said this matchup is completely one thing, right?
Wait.
It's only scaling level 1 to level 3. And you even
You're telling me his playstyle is not good.
Beat him there. How does Camille ever get in the game unless we are like have this lack of discipline? Even though also one thing is I didn't even notice this, but I see it now. Look how Sinzhao paths. I don't know how much HP he is, so here I think it's also really good for you to move your camera. So press tabs, check his CS, check his items, but also move your camera to see how much HP he has, right? Because then you know what this Sinzhao wants to do. Maybe this Sinzhao's full HP or he has double longsword. So look where he paths. He's going into topside. Us even looking for this plate here then without checking once. I feel like you're playing half blindfolded here. So even the intention here to look for this, you're 40 CS to 15 CS. Like this Camille cannot play the game already. Would you also not argue that this TP is a forced TP?
I should TP here?
Yes, I believe so. You can tell me why you do not want to TP?
I'm pretty sure I catch the cannon.
Okay. Is that why you want to TP? So you TP?
Like I can see where you TP and you hold a freeze. And I think even if I don't TP, like she even has chance if she has like the Molly, she can probably get a plating or something, and she gets to crash the wave completely.
Exactly. The thing is right here, the biggest thing is Camille actually has a shotgun as well. When is Camille going to be vulnerable? When she's pushing into you, right? If you don't TP here, she gets the guaranteed crash here. But afterwards, what's going to happen? It's also going to bounce back into her. So she is safe for the next 2 minutes that way.
So however, I should TP to like so she can't get the crash in.
Yes, you TP to deny the crash. I don't know if she has TP or not. I believe she TP'd. I'm not 100% sure on that though. So she could have TP'd last time she killed you here, right? If she does not have TP and you TP right here, her game is over. Because she will lose this full cannon wave plus full next wave, most likely. Because whilst you TP here, you're going to match her level 6. And she has to recall like all the way here because else you can always cancel her. So you're gonna be like the most annoying player here. You TP back, you match level 6, you make sure that her wave stays bigger so it pushes into you, and then you try to gain as much of her tempo by denying her recalls. and then she's just doomed because she's guaranteed to lose 2 full waves, which is equivalent to a solo kill minimum.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a forced TP. Not TPing here is just giving Camille everything she would want, and now she gets to crash for free, gets the recall for free.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, you're right. Yeah, I don't think I think that much about denying my enemy stuff. I just think about getting a bunch of resources myself.
Okay, fair. I think a good mix or healthy mix is the best way to approach this. And I feel like you.
So like I didn't see this as a problem because I caught all the minions, right? But
Okay, yeah.
when you say it like that, like it 100% makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so I see the difference in perspective. So you're just I don't know, you're a farm player. You only think about farm. But yes.
So, yeah.
So that was funny to me as well, because the first thing I mentioned here is like when I look at this frame, I'm like, holy shit, but you have such a good position, right? But you're saying the first thing you said is, why should I TP? I'm catching the cannon. It's like so great to see, right? The only objective that we're seeing here is this. We don't care about this person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a switch of mindset here too, because you deny her so many resources here. This is like hell position for her. She does have TP right now, but even with her having TP, you can guarantee deny her like this full cannon wave probably, and maybe even a bit of her depending on how often you cancel her recall. I feel like though, if you don't get these windows, like it's nice that we get it right now, but it just feels so like, how to say it, unstructured, you know, like this game we get the kill, last game against Jace we didn't get the kill, so our game just kind of feels shitty to play. Now here I think you don't TP because you don't deny her anything, because we don't have ult, we can't look to progress, so of course you never TP here. Okay, beautiful. I don't know how this went into fruition, I think you just outplay. Beautiful. Alright, what's the first thing? No, you should just slow push into hard push. I think it's very... In terms of mechanics, I won't really talk about anything. You know it better than I do, so I won't even talk about it.
They're all dead.
Good. It's a very good outcome, though. Alright, yeah, we go mid. I like that you TP'd to get a bit extra tempo. Same thing here, though, is you again could have considered slow pushing this hard pushing next. It's 10 times better for your Jace as well, because you'd integrate the bounce.
If I ulted those.
Actually, is it better? Do you get the plate from this? Because you do have Demolish. Maybe that makes a difference, because you have that tempo. No, actually, I think what you did here is still better, because now Jace actually still gets the cannon wave. No, I disagree. I take back what I said. What you did here is 100% the correct play. You swerved it here. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Alright, since I was bot, Diana's here, I feel like we're in isolation here, right? So you're free to do whatever you want. But you see, before I go to the wave state, my steps is like, okay, where's enemy jungler? I have no idea. Where's my jungler? Alright, this bot side. So let's say Diana's here, and we have no idea where Since I was at. I'd again play a lot more reserved on this scenario. Because if you die, you probably, like, you lose this wave. Sorry, you lose this wave, you lose next wave. Plus you get like 2 plates and then maybe get Herald too. Just for reference, because you're weak sided right now. That's just the big takeaway. But since I was bot as well, so you're more than free to do whatever the hell you want. Yeah, this matchup looks fun for her. Even though she got those 3 kills, right? Imagine she didn't get those kills. I feel like this guy is a complete NPC.
Completely unplayable.
Nice. That build looks so disgusting. What the hell are you cooking? Is this actually correct? Is this
I always build this. It's not build.
You know, my little brother watches you a lot. Oh, my little brother, like 20 years old. I was watching his game and he had this build. I'm like, what are you building? He said, yeah, the bounce build is. I'm like, okay, bro, you do you. Do you feel like hard pushing here is the correct play?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Don't you feel like you pressure the Camille a lot more by doing slow push into hard push? I feel like that is much more pressure for Camille. Plus, also, it's a much cleaner crash, so you get more tempo, you get a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, I never do that. Like, that's the thing. If I had slow push this, it would be much better.
Yeah, and again, here, you see how, like, I dislike playing in this pocket so much. I try to always avoid playing here. I just hate it. Because you can't progress onto your opponents, because you're too close to their turret. But at the same time, every time you use an ability, you're like, I don't know, so fragile.
Yeah.
Our Diana ends up comforting here, but I feel like if Diana's not here, I mean, maybe you can outplay it. I'm not sure how strong your champion actually is with these items here.
Wow.
But, yeah, I feel like point stands. Beautifully outplayed also. You're rewarded. If you're here in outlaning phase pretty much ends. So I think you had a good laning phase in terms of your mechanics, right? You were completely above this Camille in terms of mechanics. We have 4 deaths, and let me think. How many deaths were actually, like, justifiable? Would you feel like yourself? Maybe this one, like here earlier, with like when the Cassiopeia roamed, right? I feel like that one was justifiable.
Yeah, but there were literally also times where I didn't know where the jungler was. Just luckily he wasn't on me, you know?
Yeah, fair.
So I could have easily had more deaths.
Yeah, and I guess some games... So the thing is with this playstyle, right? is some games you're gonna feel like on top of the world nothing happens to you, you completely fist your opponent, and then other games you're gonna get complete fisted because at those timers where you're vulnerable, enemy jungle just show up. Where did we even die? Oh, we died the 4th time you took SCPS. So I feel like 2 of our deaths. Oh, actually no, this death is complete. No, wait, you died for the wave, right? Yeah, you died killing the wave. Okay, it's understandable. No, it's completely understandable that we die here. I would push this wave too.
Die for the wave.
Then why did we walk forward? That's, I think,
Yeah, like here.
that I do disagree with.
Like,
Because you even have Everfrost in the base already, right? So right now,
Yeah.
we have very big tempo recall too. Like,
Yeah, but I was seeing here. I actually saw like Camille being dead, so I was like, Krugs. I'll take the Krugs.
Okay,
but
fair.
I guess it's a little bit greedy.
Fair point. I mean, we're also talking in hindsight here, right? Because I'm saying,
Yeah.
oh, there's a Cassiopeia here, I'm talking in hindsight. How I could have seen this frame work out as well is right now, this wave will guaranteed bounce back into you, right? Because this will just crash into tier 2. So then with the wave bouncing back into you, and with how far ahead you are right now, do you feel like killing this Camille again will change the outcome of this game?
No.
I don't think so, right? And I think they probably have a pretty strong bot side. Your Diana is strong, but we're still 10 and 10 kills. So I'm assuming their bot side is probably pretty strong. So I feel like you can utilize the tempo you have on top lane right now as well to impact the map. Because you have your item in base anyways. And by the time you have to collect top again, it's probably going to take around a minute, right? Because these 2 waves go over here and then we'll start bouncing back. Plus this guy has to run back. Maybe you even have TP by the time you have to collect back. So in that tempo we have right now, we could probably impact the entire map. But yeah, I am talking in hindsight here. And actually, your team already did it. So your team already did the play. Okay, boss, how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, this is interesting. It's interesting. I think I understand my biggest weakness now better than ever.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe I wouldn't
Like
say it's
I have no clue about, like, I'm literally going into most of my plays like not even thinking about what you're saying, like where the jungler is and stuff like this. I'm just coin flipping it every time.
It feels unstructured in that regard. Okay. Do you feel like you have, I don't know, any questions or like we maybe make a summary? I think everything is probably summarized in your head, right? Because I think the examples were extremely clear. I think some habits that you can do to just make this better is, again, the habits we talked about, the jungle tracking, right? I think you have no problem tracking the junglers. It's just a thing that you have to actively start thinking about. And these are the habits that you want to do, right? You want to continuously, when a jungler shows on the map, just check their items, check their farm, and even check sometimes their buff or their HP, so you're able to know their tempo, so you know how to utilize your windows in top lane. And then do it, always making a plan on every wave. I don't care if the wave is like here, or like here, or here. We just always gotta make sure that we plan accordingly on how we want to crash. That's the most important thing. And then I guess the thing about how you see resources in terms on how I see resources, because I feel like like you said, you think too much about what you can potentially gain or like maybe lose in the future, right? Because you're saying, I don't want it to be here because I can get the cannon. But start thinking more about how you can deny your opponents too, ultimately.
Yeah, and then instead of shoving every wave instantly, I should probably slow push one and then get a better crash, so I'm safer.
Yes, and it's safer. It also is harder for your opponent will always be lane locked, right? So similar to the 4th wave crash, if we go back to this scenario. So here, realistically, if we do the 4th wave crash, you agree that Camille would always lose on something, right? As in, let's say we recall here, you probably get TP advantage because no way that Camille could have collected this wave plus push next wave before you're back. So you always get something, but the same concept still applies, let's say if you're level 7. If you do slow push into hard push in your recall, your opponent is still lane locked. So you can always lane lock your opponents like that, while still utilizing your tempo to get a roam timer, to get jungle camps, to get a proxy, to get, those bounce timers, right? Because ultimately, when is your opponent vulnerable? When the bounce is into you, and you're vulnerable when the bounce into him. And keep in mind that when you're in this scenario,
I don't know why it demolished before 5 minutes.
The more tempo you have. And I think that just summarizes that all. If you're open, I'd love to do more coaching. I think it's amazing to
I learned a lot here, so I'm 100% down.
So I'd love that. So yeah.
Wow. That was interesting. Oh, I guess the boss is not gonna int anymore. Let me check his match history. Wait, what? Those are some high amount of deaths, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. Alright, that was fun to watch.